Recently, the Premier of Alberta, Danielle Smith, has been going on a bit of a crusade, but only on the most important issues imaginable, like banning books from schools and making it so parents need to be notified before a kid can change their name. That's all right. On May 26th, Danielle Smith took a break from slaughtering puppies and babies and announced her intention to remove a bunch of books from libraries after some outcry by like a group of parents or whatever. Now, specifically, the ban included any and all mere depictions of explicit sexual content, which could contain, okay, I'm in an apartment and these thin walls. Masturbation, including touching of a person's own genitals or anus with a finger, artificial sexual organ, or other substitute for a sexual organ, penetration of the penis into the vagina or anus, contact of a sexual nature between the genitalia, mouth, hand, finger, or other body part with the clothed or unclothed genitalia, pubic area, buttocks, anus, or if the person is female, the breast of another person. I feel so uncomfortable saying this right now because I know everyone's listening to me who is around me and people could stare at me through the window. And people, my neighbors too, are looking at me. That's fun. Ejaculation onto another person, or the use of artificial sexual organs or substitutes for sexual organs on the clothed or unclothed genital, pubic area, buttocks, anus, or if the person is female, the breast of another person. We got through it. There we go. There we go. And again, I want to specify that this wasn't for like grade 1 or grade 2. This was literally every grade from K to 12, high schools. And even though these definitions are incredibly broad and include a lot, there was a second part that said that grades 10 to 12 are still allowed to read non-explicit sexual content, defined as containing a depiction of a sexual act that is not detailed or clear. Now, if you have included into the fact that this is number 1, incredibly vague, and number 2, incredibly broad, I don't quite know what's wrong with you. The idea that the innocent mind of a 17-year-old needs to be spared from the mere image of a clear or detailed depiction of someone jerking off in a book is fucking wild to me. I'm sorry, but like, give me a break. Now, after the order was mandated, Edmonton Public Schools released a list of novels that under these rules would be banned, and people instantly started getting very upset. The list included classics like Atlas Shrugged, Game of Thrones, The Godfather, The Handmaid's Tale, I think Jaws, It by Stephen King, Lolita, and hilariously, Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. That's just funny. All of these are books that would fall under the first order, meaning no one can read them. No one. They're banned from all libraries. Even if you're 17 and 11 months old, you can't pick this up at a library. However, among the books that were banned for grades K through 9 were, and I'm not kidding you right now, 1984 by prolific writer and channel shout out Kaiser Kobe. If you want to have your channel shouted out, then please become a tier 3 member like him too. I'm kidding. By George Orwell. This is a piece of advice for anyone in politics, like almost ever. There is literally no advantage to doing this, optically speaking, whatsoever. This is pretty fucking clear. I promise you the 3 chapters where they're in like a forest and then in like the upstairs part of where that shop area, that's not going to corrupt an innocent person's mind. I promise you it's fine. And Jesus Christ, you're banning 1984. Give your head a shake. Now, because the order that her government wrote out was being read and then followed, this sent Danielle Smith into a fucking spiral, stating that Edmonton Public was engaging in vicious compliance. All right. Now, I've read out to you earlier all the definitions for what could possibly be deemed as explicit sexual material. And looking at the list, I have absolutely no clue how anyone could read what your government put out and disagree with what Edmonton Public did. I don't even know what you were thinking. I'm not even angry like ideologically. I'm angry on like a competence level. You are a government. The one thing you should be good at is writing 900-page essays about laws with every little micro niche scenario possible so it can be enforced by an army of brainlets. That's your one job. But this is like a whole new level of like, I don't even know. Danielle Smith, did you read the goddamn fucking article you put out? Anyway, because we live in the year of our Lord, 2018, every single right-wing politician is like immune of ever apologizing or admitting fault for anything or putting in any genuine effort to try and turn the temperature down in any way, shape, or form. And going further into her statements post the release of the list, she said, I'm going to be more explicit than usual so there is no misunderstanding this policy. Number 1, get graphic, pornographic images out of school libraries, and number 2, leave the classics on the shelves. And number 3, we all know the difference between the items in 1 and 2. Let's not play any more games in implementing this policy for our kids. It is so hot in this room. So here we can clearly see that Edmonton Public Schools was engaging in vicious compliance because Danielle Smith only meant like graphic novels or comics or just books with images. And if we continue to take the conservative politician at face value, I'm sorry, that's all well and good, Danielle. But if we take a look over here about the actual ministerial order for a second, right here in the appendix, you define school literary materials as any materials, including books, magazines, comics, graphic novels, or other literary or graphic materials, whether in physical or electronic form, that are accessible or available to children or students at a school. You clearly did not mean like just images, but whatever. It said depictions. Depictions is not just images. I am sweating my ass off right now. Holy sake. So I don't know what you're smoking, you soulless goblin woman. You are clearly lying, but that's fine. So during her public walk back, Danielle Smith grabbed right hold of the goalpost and then dragged it all the way to the other end of the field completely, but whatever. Anyway, because of controversy from this issue, her government is now doing the bare minimum. I believe is creating its own list of books that are going to be banned now, which is good. Instead of creating like an incredibly broad and like vague set of guidelines and then getting cranky when it's not followed exactly how she imagined it would be. But as of just a couple days ago, the order has been completely reworked, and along with getting rid of any sexual acts that are written. So that means if it's written down, it's fine, which is definitely not what was in that order, but whatever. They also completely got rid of any distinction between student ages. So that's a big walk back there, but whatever. And pushed the deadline from like it's happening now to January 5th, 2026 to give time to actually work with schools to get this done. Jesus Christ. But just in case you needed any more proof that this is the complete walk back of the century, one of the parents organizations that started this whole thing, Parents for Choice in Education, gave a comment on CBC and said, one of the reasons there's trouble in the text is that what this sort of literature sometimes tries to do is to invite the reader to imagine themselves participating in the sexualized activity, he said. Where that activity is made very explicit in description, you can see some meaningful harm happening. By the way, I can't. They're teenagers. They're gonna be fucking. They're fucking. I was a teenager. I was fucking. Everyone's fucking. They're teenagers. But again, Danielle Smith lied. Breaking news, everyone. The conservative politician lied. But to be fair, there are at least arguments to what should be done here that I think are beneficial for kids. Obviously, Danielle Smith's first incentive isn't helping kids while writing up this order. It's probably like 3 or 4 on the list of motives she has. But that being said, there is a genuine stance here where the primary objective is to keep kids safe. And if that argument were to be expressed out loud, I'm sure that it would sound very similar to the arguments that the government is putting out. I want to make that clear. However, I'm here to say that this next part is genuinely frustrating. I don't see any benefit to this. A new law in Alberta has been enacted that forces schools to inform the parents if a child under the age of 16 requests a name change, and the school needs parental consent before the school can accept the change. And for all kids 16 and 17, the parents have to be informed before the school will accept the name change, but they don't need their consent. This is just bad and dumb and stupid. I want to make my position very clear here. I'm not strictly against parents for some stupid reason. It would be genuinely scary. I'll empathize here. It would be genuinely scary to one day hear from your kid that they're a whole new person. The name that you gave them is gone. Strictly focusing on the parents right now, I can understand why that would be upsetting, why that'd be tricky to deal with. There are valid concerns there, and I can understand why for the majority of parents, they would think that this is a good idea. My problem with this is not, in fact, with the majority of parents. The problem with making this a law is that everyone has to go under these laws now. And I'm speaking specifically to parents who might have some uncomfortabilities with their kid transitioning, but wouldn't beat the fuck out of them for it. My problem is not with you at all. You're chill. You're fucking gang, bro. My problem is with certain parents who would decide that a new name would be enough of a good enough reason to wail out on some little fucking 9th grader. That's my problem. That's what my issue with this law. This law is going to lead to kids getting hurt. Kids who already don't have the best upbringing and are already dealing with a lot and through no fault of their own. Kids who just straight up don't have the most loving parents. This law is not bad. Okay, my fucking camera's overheating. That's fun. This law is not bad because good parents will have to be notified that their kid's name is different. The law is bad because bad parents are going to have to be notified that their kid's name is different. And by making this apply to all kids, you've put the provinces most vulnerable and dependent in the crossfires. And that, I think, is kind of despicable. The alternative wasn't perfect, but there is literally no reason why the province should be making this a law. There is no good reason to do this. Nothing good can come from this, straight up. Straight up. Especially for 16 and 17-year-olds. Why even do this? The fact that I, as a 16-year-old, I could have had sex with some fucking 45-year-old and no one bats an eye, but the second I come to a teacher and I'm like, hey, yo, can you stop calling me Hudson and instead call me Heidi? And now my fucking parents are on a Skype call with fucking too mad? All attempts at saying that this is just for the kids, it's wrong. It's just wrong. And I'm sure some people are going to be like, but Hudson, what if you think that trans people is bad? You know what? Fine. I'll accept that opinion for right now. Fine. Sure, why not? You should still be able to recognize that kids are like dumb and crazy and wild, and they do crazy things. They're a kid. That's the point of being a child, is you can do that, right? It's not like, dude, I know that woman. She lives on my floor. Jesus Christ. That's a jump scare. What was I saying? It's not like the kid isn't like getting his nuts cut off. He just wants to. They just want to be called a different name. That's not permanent. That's not like unfixable. They just want to be called a different name in school. Why should the parents have to know about this? Like, I get it. Fine. You don't think you're anti-trans. Boo, trans people. Cool. Fine. Whatever. I can understand thinking that, like, oh yeah, parents should be notified. Parents should be in the process if a kid needs to transition. Fine. That's so fair. You're right. Like, asking to be called a different name? Are you fucking dense? This isn't doing anything permanent. This isn't puberty blockers. This is literally just what name you are going to be called. That's it. Now, every political commentator on this website, for some reason, believes they've got the secret Krabby Patty formula for why they think Danielle Smith is just like cosplaying the worst person ever, whether it be the culture war, or dead fish theory, or whatever. But I don't think that any of that, I don't think any of it is true. I'm sorry, but I can't look at all that Danielle Smith has done and think that this is some part of some grand plan, some grand narrative, some big strategy. This woman is flying by the seat of her pants 24/7. I mean, good Lord. One of the things she did was so stupid, she had to completely buck it. Look at my sweat, dude. She had to completely buck what she was going to do and change it completely. And the other thing that she did was so stupid, it is currently pending judicial review after two SLGBTQ organizations, got that one out, took the government to court. None of this is planned. None of it is like, all of it is half-assed. Half of it might not even be legal. By the way, those two organizations that are taking the government to court, they're called Egale Canada and Alberta's Skipping Stone Foundation. They're actually, so far they're winning. There's sweat getting on my glasses. It's so hot in my camera's about to overheat. They are taking the government to court and they're like currently winning. The law has been like stopped pending judicial review. It's like, that's not they haven't won, but that's a pretty good sign. I think that she genuinely just believes the thing she's pushing and wants this policy, just simple as that. And if this really was a part of some grand plan, narrative, strategy, or whatever, it isn't working. Oh my fucking God, dude. Holy shit. Holy fuck. Her approval ratings have been slowly dipping, little bit by little bit, and she's nowhere near the point where she's dragging the UCP into losing the next election, but in current leader approval rating, Nahad Nenshi is slowly catching up on her. Just a few months ago, Danielle Smith was winning against Nenshi by 9 points, which as of the newest Leger poll has been cut down to 3 points, which is nice to see. But whatever, like, grand crusade, it's not working. No logical explanation, strategically speaking, makes sense for what this woman is pushing and smoking. I tend to make most of my videos about political strategy, even though I want to make econ videos, but mostly I try to put my politics aside when analyzing issues because I just want to have like the best information possible. But there is no strategy here. She's just doing this because she wants to. There is no reason for her to be doing this. Strategically speaking, these are hyper wedge issues that the vast majority of people fucking disagree with. Anyway, please consider join the Discord. It's the best way to support me. I'm going to go sit in an ice bath because it's so fucking hot in this room and turn my fan on and a bunch of shit. These are going to keep coming, but be patient because, dude, look at that. God.